Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back, and good morning to everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you are in the world today. So it is Hump Day, and just a couple things I want to get through in this short live stream today. So if you guys are joining in right now, please hit the like button. It really helps out. But on top of that, share this on your favorite social platforms, all that good stuff. Just to kind of do a quick rundown. What up, Gene? First off, I'm going to be talking about Nothing Phone 1 receiving Nothing OS 3.2. I just got the update this morning, and there will be a separate video dropping later on today. Just overall, what is in the software update. Aside from that, Gene, basically the rest of the show, you inspired with the post that you posted last night. And so I'm going to kind of address this to a lot of different content creators out there that may be facing the same issues, same problems, same, feelings, and hopefully, help them out. So first off, shout out to the channel members. Your guys' names in the ticker below. Appreciate you guys for being a member of the channel. You guys get exclusive videos for you guys, as well as shorts that are just for you guys. So, yeah. Anyhow, let's get that out the way. And, all right. So first things first, getting things out of the way. The Nothing Phone 1 did receive an update this morning for me. I don't know exactly the specifics of when it came out. It probably came out today. And, there, like I said, there will be a video where I kind of, do a rundown on it. And then a video following up that after, I would say, about 3 days, just to let you guys know if there's any issues that I ran into with Nothing OS 3.2. Now, I think one of the biggest questions that people are going to have is Nothing OS 3.2 with the Nothing Phone 3 pre-order right now and releasing here in a few days. That one releasing with Nothing OS 3.5. Why didn't the Nothing Phone 1 get 3.5 as well? And there may be some things within 3.5 that's not compatible with the first generation of Nothing Phone. And that's probably the reason why that there is a 3.2. Now, that's just speculation. Don't take that as gospel. It's not Moses' 10 Commandments. So I could definitely be wrong. But really what this is just several bug fixes that some Nothing Phone 1 users were experiencing, like considering the glyph lights and how the composer worked. What up, B-Tech? And then on top of that, just some bug fixes, a few changes within the user interface. So yeah, those are a couple of things that, was said with the update. The update size was 719 megabytes, I believe. So, not really a gig, close there. But for those who would be asking the question, and the question is is will the Nothing Phone 1 get Nothing OS 4, which is Android 16 base? And to be honest with everybody, I am not sure. More than likely, it's a no. I don't think that Nothing is going to allocate resources for software engineering to keep the Nothing Phone 1 up to date. They may do just, security patch updates, only because, with the announcement of the Nothing Phone 3, they literally said that phone was going to get 5 years of software updates. And, so they'll give it until like what, 2030 when it'll get its final update. So the Nothing Phone 1, I believe, was only guaranteed 3 software updates. Now, this is not to say that Nothing Tech couldn't update the Nothing Phone 1 to Android 16. It's just the probability of them doing it is slim, like a small window. I mean, in a perfect world, for us who are fans of the Nothing Phone 1, in a perfect world, we would get Android 16. Like, if I ran the company, if I was the founder of Nothing Phone, I mean, something that other OEMs are not doing is keeping support for the very first phone that broke them into the market. And so if I was the owner and founder of Nothing Tech, I would consistently keep the Nothing Phone 1 up to date by giving it the latest Android software update, allowing it to just flourish kind of going down the road. It's something that other brands aren't doing. And but for the years that I've been watching their content, because Nothing Tech does have a YouTube channel and they do post videos on there to give their, not only their fans, but people who may be interested in the brand and the types of phones that they sell. They give them an insight of like what goes on in the headquarters, right? They give you an insight of how they come up with the designs, and you get to meet the design team, you get to meet the the software engineers, you get to hear from the CEO of the company periodically in an interview-esque type style podcast or vlog. And so from my time of watching their content and listening to the things that they say and the way that they present things, I've come to know that for them, looking at the Nothing Phone 1 wouldn't seem it wouldn't seem productive for them to continue the life on that phone. I mean, they generally want people to move up and purchase the latest devices that they're releasing. They definitely want people to upgrade. So for them, it's really a thing of just like keeping the Nothing Phone 1 bare minimum up, updating and everything like that at this point is how I feel. If it gets Android 16, like if for a fact that it gets Android 16, that would totally surprise me. And I think it would surprise a lot of Nothing Phone 1 users. And I'm sure we would be very grateful for a software update to the latest version of Android. But then again, you also got to think too, if they gave us this, right? If they gave us Android 16 on the Nothing Phone 1, and then, we're very grateful for that update. It's just going to give people the hope that maybe it'll get Android 17. And so they'll take to social media and talk about it. And then they'll be talking about trying to get Android 18 the following year after. So, it's a slippery slope in that, if they gave us Android 16. So there are variables when it comes to all this. If we don't get Android 16, then we definitely, we just have to appreciate, what we get from them. Thank them for, putting out something, slightly different than the rest of, smartphones in the smartphone tech world. Because that's one of the things that, is the reason why there are people who gravitate towards Nothing Tech, is because it's something that's, different. It's different from all the rest out there. It gives a different feeling. It gives a different look. Their focus is, you can kind of see where their priorities stand when it comes to their devices. So big shout out to Nothing Tech. Catch the video later on today when it releases, and you'll get more of like what's inside the OS 3.2 update. I don't want to give it away on here because then there would be no reason for anyone to go see the video. But ultimately, the main focal point of this live stream is to kind of just talk about content creating on YouTube. This is something that's I normally don't talk about on the channel, and normally don't really share too much of it. just because I'm not a 12-step YouTube guru, if that makes sense, right? Like I don't go out there and help people grow their channels. My methods and tactics don't always work for everybody else, so I just I don't do that. But the one thing that I do want to talk about is the long haul run of being a content creator, because this is something that it affects people mentally, and it works against you in such a bad way. And I know it's crazy for someone to say, "Hey, you know, um, stick it out for the long run. Don't give up." Those types of advice. But I'm gonna break down the reasons why. Okay, and with the CEO of YouTube actually kind of opening up and just giving us, the key to the castle. Because if anyone's been watching any of the vlogs and videos from the CEO of YouTube, whether he's being interviewed by another channel, he's literally broken down what it takes to grow on YouTube. And it has totally debunked all the things of like the algorithm, right? And that's one thing that people always hear about is you got to get on the algorithm side. There's an algorithm hack for this, and you got to do this, and that. And some of those advices are true. Some of them, yes, you do need to work on, like thumbnails. You do need to work on your thumbnails. Thumbnails do help in people's decisions of clicking on your video and watching your video, right? How genuine are you as a person on your channel, your videos, your live streams, things like that? Like, are you being you, or are you, trying to emulate somebody else? That is a very big point. Um, Was it tags? Tags is another one that you get advice on. And yes, it's true. You want to tag your video. You want to tag your video that's relevant to what you're saying. So that way, the people that are looking for that type of video will find it. That's why tags are so important. If you're putting like 3 or 4 tags, like live stream, YouTube, content creator, mobile tech, that's not getting anywhere. Other than you're zeroing in on something that maybe not a lot of people are looking for. But let's say I'm doing a video on the Nothing Phone 1. So like my tags, they'll completely use up the 500 character limit. Not just one tag being that long, but like several tags that use up the 500 character limit. And it could be things of like, of course, you would say nothing tech, nothing phone 1, nothing phone 1 review, phone 1 review, nothing tech, first gen phone, my experience with nothing phone 1. Like you can use short phrases as text, not text, but as tags. Like you could say unboxing the nothing phone 1, and that would be a tag. You can say things like my first impressions of nothing phone 1. That could be a tag. I mean, they're not too long. They're a little bit longer than what you would think a tag would be. But you got to remember, these tags are used on the Google search. They're used that when people type these things in Google search, it brings up your video because your tag is resonating with the person's search query. You have to think about it in that context, right? You have to think about how, if you were searching for that video, how would you, what would you use to try and find it? And then base your tags off of that. There's a habit where people use a one-size-fits-all tag scheme. So they create a notepad and like they put all these tags that's relevant to the types of videos that they're putting. You could do that. But I would keep it very general if you're going to use a one-size-fits-all tags. And those should be copy-pasted into your tag section when you're uploading a video after you have put in the necessary and specific tags, right? Okay, so Gene, you said that you don't use tags. That would be one reason why when you posted on YouTube last night and you talked about, that you're going to take a break away from YouTube because nobody's watching your content, you can't expect people to find your content if you're not tagging your videos and live streams properly. Because how are they going to find you in search? I mean, when you're comparing yourself, And this is a big mistake that people do. They compare themselves to MKBHD or they compare themselves to iJustine. And remember, those YouTubers are well established. They have gotten both their feet in the door when it comes to YouTube. And, YouTube has appreciated them for their work in helping YouTube grow, right? So Marquez doesn't even have to tag a video today if he uploaded one, because he's got such a huge following that people have notifications turned on. They are notified when he releases a video. So he doesn't need a tag. But for smaller content creators like us, we need to use the tags. Otherwise, no one's going to find us. I did an experiment. B-Tech knows this because he's, I've been telling him all about the stuff that I've been doing on YouTube. I've uploaded videos with 0 tags, a generic thumbnail. I've done these things to see what type of results I get. And then I followed the YouTube playbook and seen what it can do for my channel, right? And so if you look back several weeks, you'll notice that there were some videos that maybe got like 50 views, 90 views, 80 views, because like my channel is on its way to its decline death, right? Like my glory days of having, thousands of views, that's over and done with, because there's always new creators that come. There's always new creators that, bring a different aesthetic. And of course, the generation of viewers are different. They're not the same as what they were back in 2010, 2011, 2012, right? These new viewers, they like things shorter. They like them short and sweet, which I'll get into here in a little bit. But, with everything that's changed, you have to change with the times on things, right? So I do all these tests to kind of see like what works for my channel, what doesn't work for my channel, so my channel can at least be semi-relevant in today. But then again, like I told everybody, I will ride this until the wheels falls off, right? So even if I lose YouTube partnership, even if I lose all subscribers or whatever, I will keep making content and uploading it to the best of my abilities, because this is what I enjoy to do. Like I love doing this. I love making videos, talking about tech, and I love going live and chatting with everybody, about just like what's going on, in their lives, in the world, whatever tech they're interested in, like all these things I just love to chat about. So yeah, with you being a smaller creator, you got to tag your videos. You have to tag your live streams. Like if you're going to do a live stream, my advice for doing a live stream, that way you can get your tags in before your live stream starts, is to schedule your live stream. Like in Restream, when you're setting up your live stream and it gives you the option of scheduling it and what time for, I would say schedule it an hour before you're ready to start, like an hour from, when you're setting it up, right? Give yourself an hour, because you never know if you want to change certain things about your stream, or if you want to add video clips, right? Because Restream allows you to upload a small video to host in your live stream segment. So if you can get all those things set up, you can get the web pages that you're going to go to. You can get those up if you need them. If you're going to invite guests to co-host with you, you can give them time to be ready and share out the link for them to get on. So like schedule your live streams. And the reason why I say that is because after it's scheduled, you can go into YouTube Studios and you can begin editing and adding tags and stuff like that, switching up your thumbnail if you want to. You could, if you have a trailer, like if you created a 30-second video of what your live stream is going to be about, you can upload that directly to YouTube, but set it as not as public, but not as private. But you can just set it to where it's viewable, but it's not publicly posted. And then you can link it to your live stream as a trailer. So when people come on YouTube and they click on your live stream to see what it's about, they'll get a trailer and a countdown timer that tells them when the live stream actually starts. So like these are things that you could do to kind of like help position your channel to get views. What up, Sneed? You could use these to help you out, Gene, because ultimately, if you're not tagging your videos, if you're not creating thumbnails, if you're going live, but you're just going directly live, like you're not setting up your credentials for your live stream, you are aiming to go nowhere. And that's where the frustration comes in, right? Because like, I don't know your mind specifically, Gene. Like, I don't know exactly what you're thinking, but I'm pretty sure when you do a live stream and you're on there for like, 15, 20 minutes, it's kind of disheartening when there's like nobody watching, nobody commenting, there's nobody in the chat. You feel alone. and then you're probably telling yourself in your head like why the fuck am I doing this? And then you're like, all right, well, you're gonna drop out of your live stream and end it because you've been on for like half an hour, no one's there. I get it because there's times I do a live stream and nobody showed up. I've been there. And if you want people to find you, you have to give them a bone. You cannot just put your faith in the force, like Star Wars, and be like, I'm going to go live and people are just going to show up. Like, it don't work that way. All right. You have to start tagging your videos. You have to start tagging your live streams. Even if you are excited and you go live before setting up your live stream, right? Like you just go into Restream and you put a title, put where you're going to stream it to and hit stream. Even when you're done with your live stream, go back into YouTube Studios, edit it, add tags, add things, right? Don't hashtag in the title. That's something that, I figured out and learned. Hashtags in the title, there's no reason for it. Even in YouTube Shorts, hashtags in the shorts, put them in the description if you want to put them somewhere, but don't put them in the title. It actually, it works against your video being shared out, right? Because the CEO of YouTube made it clear. If you're authentic, if you're genuine, and if you're passionate, people will gravitate. There's not a thing you have to crack the algorithm to get. There's not a thing that, like a 12-step program to beat the algorithm. The algorithm only does what it's supposed to do, which is it takes your video or your live stream and it shows it to group A that could consist of 100 people. And if like 80 people out of 100 people in that group thumbs up your video and watched relatively a good part of your video, then the algorithm is like, okay, I'm gonna show it to group B and group C, D, E, F, G. It goes through several different groups before like beginning to push it, in the For You feed on YouTube. After the video has been done, no comments are not made. Some comments are, I do schedule my lives. I hate doing shorts. Okay. But like what I'm saying is you do those things, right? So stay with me on this because you're putting the cart before the horse. You can't also have this mindset where it's like, I'm going to go live today. I'm going to do a tag. And then you expect it to happen right then and then. There's going to be a long, hard fought road. Like if this is, and I tell people this, if content creating is something that you really want to do, if you really want to do this, okay, you got to be prepared for the good and the bad. You got to be prepared for no views, for no subscribers, to getting subscribers. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a couple of days. There are people that it literally took them 6 months just to build a following of 100 people that are actually dedicated viewers, not subscribers, people that actually watch every video and you're consistently getting 100 views. It could take you a year. But give me 1 second real quick. All right. Anyhow, as I was saying, the growth that you're looking for doesn't happen overnight. There are some people who hit lightning in a bottle, right? They posted one video and for some reason it went viral and got like 10 million views. And in a span of 30 days, they grew from 0 subscribers to 50,000 subscribers. Okay. If you're lucky to hit that, you're lucky to hit that. But again, it has to be consistency. You have to consistently work at it. Sneed is a prime example, Gene. If you want to talk to someone who's been down that road, if you don't remember when in the earlier days, live streaming with Sneed, when Sneed was, he's still popping, but when he started to blow up, right? He started to, do more live streams and have a panel of guests on there, Carlos and everybody, and we were all having fun and just like hanging out and chit-chatting, right? If you remember those days, remember what Sneed said, that when he first broke into YouTube, nobody wanted to collaborate with him. Nobody was giving him a chance, right? The only person that gave him a chance was a JG Tech Blog, and he let Sneed take over his channel to talk about the things that Sneed wanted to talk about, right? And eventually people started to pick up. Afterwards, Sneed focused more on his own channel, but JG Tech Blog gave him the platform to help him find people, because people weren't going towards Sneed back in the day. So even Sneed had felt the pinch of no views, no community, no help, and it took a while before he found the group that was interested in his niche. And now you look at Sneed, 500 view video, 1,000 view video, 4,000 view video, right? Subscriber climbing up. But aside from those numbers, he's got a solid community. He's got a community that always comes back for his videos. He's got a community that always joins in on his live streams. And that wasn't easy for him to get, but he got it. He got it. He consistently stayed through it. Like, I know it's disheartening. I know people get frustrated. They get angry. They're like, screw this. I'm done. I quit. I'm not going to post videos for a while. I'm going to do something else because this is, damaging to my mental health. And if it really is like hitting your mental health that bad, then yeah, you should step away, right? Nothing's more important than your mental health. But if you're saying things out of aggravation and frustration, one of the things you don't want to do is a mistake that I've made in the past. So experience. You don't want to get frustration for your fans, your subscribers, or possible subscribers. You don't want to convey that message to them, because what you're showing them, and I had to think about this, when I was thinking about all the things where my channel went wrong. You have to think, if you're conveying negativity, then all you're going to get is negativity, right? I'm a firm believer in what you put out there into the universe is going to come back to you. So if you're like, I'm done with this shit, no one's watching my stuff, why am I even wasting my time? Then people are going to look at that and think to themselves, then why the hell should we waste our time on you? If the going gets tough, you're just going to quit. Now, you got to remember, there are people who are going to be interested in your channel, in your content, and as in you as a person. And you may be frustrated and wanting to leave because you're not getting the views, the plays that you're hoping to get. But what you're teaching them, those people who could possibly subscribe to you, is that you're telling them in so many words, do not put stock in me because I am not going to be here for the long haul. So in their mind is, why should I subscribe to you? Because I don't want to subscribe to someone who I'm going to be interested in watching and then they're going to bail on me because things aren't going their way. Like, this is not an overnight success thing. This is not something that, you're going to see results immediately or in 1 month. Like I said, when I started YouTube, I didn't see results until a year later. A year from when I started is when I got 100 subscribers. It wasn't until 4 years later where I grew from, I had like 1.1 thousand subscribers. It wasn't until 4 years after that is when people really started to discover my videos, and I started growing, and I was growing to 2,000 subscribers, 3,000 subscribers, right? I was doing collaborations with B-Tech, with Magic Tech Review. I was doing collaborations with Paul Tech. I was doing collaborations with, what is old boy's name? God, I can't remember his name. He's Latrell's. He's Latrell's friend, or yeah, I think he should still be TechRight. When TechRight was only at 2,000 subscribers, right? We were all collaborating together. I had all these weird ideas, created We Are Techies, which was supposed to be a collaborative channel where nobody had dominance over the other. Because today we do live streams, we do it on each other's channels, right? There's live streams I'll do, and B-Tech will be a guest on it. And then there's live streams that he does on his channel, and I'll be a guest on it, right? And I didn't want, at the time, I didn't want one person to be dominant over everybody. So I created a YouTube channel where nobody had, dominance over it. Nothing was going to be monetized or anything like that. So it didn't feel like that. Whatever it say I monetized the channel and it made $100, right? If there's 10 of us on there, then we would each get $10, right? Now imagine if I had a panel of 50 people on there. I know that's not possible. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, right? Then that would be $2 a person, right? And I didn't want to have to do that. So I just made a free space where there was, no monetization, no worries about money, and genuine geeks geeked out over mobile tech. That's what I created back in the day. Um, but aside from all that, like all the collaborations and everything like that, everyone grew at different paces, right? And the idea too was to get all these different mindsets in one place collaboratively to talk about mobile tech and give our insight and views. And one of the things that had to be done in the live stream was everybody's YouTube channel link had to be in the description. Because if we got someone watching the live stream, like, and say maybe they thought I sounded annoying, but they thought B-Tech sounded cool as hell, right? Then they could find B-Tech's channel, because we would always make it known that everyone's channel link is in the description. And so they can go to that specific YouTuber they wanted to subscribe to and subscribe to their channel and become a new member of their channel. So there are things that happen throughout a YouTube journey. But with me rambling on, because I ramble quite a bit, basically, Jane, the thing is that if this is really what you want to do, you can't quit. You can't give up on yourself, much less, you can't pop that negative energy on your channel, because then that's just gonna work and hurt you so badly. Okay, it's not an overnight thing. It's really not. And this may sound harsh, but I'm only telling this from a good place, even though it sounds harsh and it sounds mean. But if your thought process for being a YouTuber is an overnight success thing, like if you think you follow all the rules and do things right, that you should successfully gain 2 or 3 subscribers right away, that this is not for you. Because not everyone's going to grow the same, and not everyone is going to have the same, the same tactics work for them. Like, you have to find what works for you. You have to find what your niche is. Maybe tech is not your thing. Maybe tech is not something that people look at you and gravitate towards, but maybe your Christmas things, maybe your joyful personality for the holidays is what people gravitate towards you more. Then maybe that is your niche. Maybe vlogging, talking about what goes on in your day and your day-to-day life, maybe that's your thing, and people will subscribe to that. Like, when you say that you have X amount of subscribers, have you ever asked them what they came to your channel for? Why did they subscribe to you? And what is it that they like about your channel? I mean, we as content creators can't be so arrogant that we think that we have everything on lock. Okay. Just recently, I did kind of like a poll, right? It was only open to members only. So only members saw it. And I asked people, and the title of that video was, I Need Your Help. And I explained in that video, and if everyone watched it from beginning to end, they would have known exactly what it was about. And it was asking people to tell me why they came to my channel to subscribe, what video they liked, and what topic discussion I do that they came for. I got a feedback that literally tells me one guy comes for the Pixel videos. Okay. Does that mean that I'm going to completely focus on Google Pixel on the channel? No. It just means that I know when I drop a video about Google Pixels, I know that person is one of the however many 100 viewers I get that watch the video. So now I know what that person's interested in. When everybody else starts telling me what they want, because I'm about to open it publicly for other people to come in and share with me what types of videos they enjoy, what do they like, what do they want out of my channel. That will give me a clear consensus of what I could do and what I shouldn't do in the long run and in the future. So with that being said, sometimes you have to open up the floor, and it's not a one-time thing. It's not opening it once. I would do it every 3 months, right? I would do it every quarter of the year, because things change. And if you're gaining subscribers, you're getting new viewpoints. You're getting people with different point of views from the others. You may open up a focus group and get all that information, but if you gain like another 100 subscribers, is their input involved? Well, of course not. They weren't there when you asked the question. So you have to Well, help. I would say that you have to. I'm gonna strike that from my vocabulary. But what would help is having like a focus group quarterly, or maybe you know, like twice a year, if you want to go that route. You have to just hold on for the ride, Gene. Nothing is overnight. And like you said, you say you're lucky to get 264 subscribers. Well, think about that right there. You got 264 subscribers. That means that there's somebody who started 2 years ago and still has 0 subscribers or 1 subscriber. You got 263 more subscribers than that person. YouTube is a game of chess, not checkers. And what I mean by that is there are some people that can get a checkmate with 3 moves. There are some people that can get a checkmate with 4 moves. There are some people that can get a checkmate with 5 moves. There are some people that don't get a checkmate until after 20 moves. Right? YouTube is a game of checkers, not chess. You're not going to hop creators to get to the finish line and then be successful. You're going to have your own path, your own journey. Your journey is going to be different from my journey. It's going to be different from Sneed's journey and Carlos's journey. It's going to be different. You know, you have to stay with it for the long haul. So that's why I commented on your post, and that's why I'm doing this topic for the live stream today. Because I know there's other people that's going to feel that way. Trust me, I'm human. I'm no damn robot. And I feel that way sometimes too. Okay? To be transparent with all of you guys. You know, in the last year, I've been really hurt on just how bad my channel has tanked. But I'm the only person at blame for that. Nobody else is, right? At times where I slowed down uploading content, I slowed down in live streaming. At times where, you know, I got frustrated and posted something on the community feed. All these things that I did that worked against myself, like I was severely hurt. There were times where like I literally like took a drive, went up South Mountain, sat down, and just had to cry. Just had to like just let all that that aggression out of me, and just wondering like, why did I fall so far? But you know, it's sitting and thinking about how all this came to be. Yes, there were mistakes that I made, but of course, any mistake you made, you can bounce back from. But you also got to think, like, I'm going to take the tech space for an example, right? Because I'm not a parody creator. I'm not a musician or a singer, any of that, right? I just make content on tech. So I'm only going to do it for our community. And our community is a great example for this, because this is also the reason why there's a drop in viewership for a lot of creators. I could name a couple off top, which I will name them. And I'm sure that if they are truthful, they ain't going to deny it. The tech space has grown in the last 10 years. The tech space has grown. All right. If you were watching tech videos from YouTube back in 2012 through 2017, then you might remember you had all the big players, all the major players, and then you had all the small content creators. But the small content creator list was like 100 at best that were recognizable and whatnot, right? Now when you look in the tech space for YouTube, there are thousands and thousands of small creators that you are competing with, right? When you're in there making live streams and you have a guest host and you guys are talking about 5G or you're talking about smartphones, remember, Gene, you're competing against me and you're competing against Sneed, right? And I'm not saying this to dishearten you. I'm just letting you know the reality of the field that you're playing on. So there are thousands of creators that you are competing with, that you're fighting for your own piece of the pie in this world of the tech space on YouTube. That's also impacting people like me, B-Tech Reviews. Hell, If you want somebody outside of our known community, do you follow somebody known as Simple Alpaca? Because I follow him. I love his videos, right? As much as I'm a content creator, I also love being a fan of people's channels, right? I'm a fan of people's channels. I love watching their videos. I understand you do things besides tech, but you got to find your niche. But I'm just using the tech space as an example as to why it's harder now than what it was back then for growth on YouTube. So you understand, right? The thing is, you know, and one thing I noticed from other creators out there, I'm not going to call them out on it, because if they want the help, they want the help. If they don't, they don't. I know several creators, like not know them personally, but like know of their channels, that are so arrogant that they don't even really look at the writing on the wall. Anyone that tries to help them, and they have this arrogance, like they know everything. So why are they telling them? You know? Never fall into that category. Never be that type of person. There's always room for growth, right? I've been on here since 2011, and even I like to find new things that helps me with this channel. So that's one tip I'll give you that I think will be beneficial, right? Is just never be too arrogant to learn. But anyways, the tech space is so packed. There's too many of us in here. So if you watch guys like Simple Alpaca, go to his videos from 5 years ago, and like his iPhone videos, they're like at 27,000 views, 17,000 views, right? North of 10,000 views, right? Anywhere from 10,000 to 100,000 views he used to get on his videos. You go to Simple Alpaca's channel right now, and you look at the videos, you know, in the last 4 years, and for the most part, most of them are getting like over 1,000 views, between 1,000 views to 9,000 views. But he also has a good amount of videos that are getting between 100 to 700 views. And it's because the space is so polluted with so many people. First off, this is the reason why that I tell people, like, don't join in on the YouTube tech community if you have no plans to stay here permanently. Because there are people, not going to call them out, but there are people who are like, hey, YouTubers make money. YouTubers become partners with, you know, with YouTube, and they make money off of ads placed in their videos. I bet you they make about $6,000, right? Or people use, and this is like one of those websites, I forgot the name of it, but I think was so detrimental to YouTube because it gave people an estimate of what YouTubers make financially from ad revenue, that it created this facade that if you get on YouTube and you create a viral video and it blows up, you're going to make millions of dollars. Like, no, not off of one video. You're not going to make millions of dollars. Because you got to remember, you know, with the CPM for revenue, it's X amount of dollars per 1,000 views, right? And that fluctuates daily. You know, every day it changes. It could be $13 per 1,000 view. It could be $6 per 1,000. You know, you have to hit it at the right time, you know, for that to be financial growth. But you got these people that jumped on YouTube and they fought really hard to become, you know, monetized. This is the reason why the YouTube partnership program changed from when I joined to what it is today. You had a lot of people joining in. They wanted to get paid. They wanted to make money. They wanted to make YouTube their job, their career. And the first month they were on YouTube, they got 10 subscribers. So they got discouraged. And so they were growing, you know, and in a year's time, they quit. In 2 years' time, they quit. I mean, I'm not trying to throw salt on an open wound, but you guys remember Alt Dad Tech? You guys remember him? I know there was some controversy between him and I believe Tech Odyssey and several other YouTubers. This guy completely disappeared, right? He was breaking in. He was growing fast on the tech space. I subscribed to him because I enjoyed his content. A lot of people did. Then you had, you know, the whole fallout or whatever. He's completely disappeared. Like, if you're doing that, of course, the YouTube partnership program changed because they were like, okay, we got to make sure that people are in it for the long haul. So they set goals you had to reach, right? You had to get, you know, 1,000 subscribers. You got to get 4,000 watch hours in a year. You got to get, what was it? What was the other thing? There was another thing that they wanted. But anyways, if you achieve that, you would get, the partnership opened up to you. You could create your AdSense account. You could apply for monetization on your videos, right? When I got a YouTube partnership thing, it was open to anybody. I applied, they reviewed my channel, and they offered me partnership, and I've been with them ever since 2010. So yeah, the scales have changed, especially now with short form content, which is another thing that's hurting long form content. Long form tech content is nearly dead because a lot of viewers have figured out that they can get people to go straight to the point of the subject in tech by having them just do a short, right? I've noticed this with my videos. If I do long form content about why the Nothing Phone 1 getting Nothing OS 3.2, I absolutely guarantee you guys that people would only watch maybe the first 2 minutes out of 5 minutes, or maybe the first minute out of the video. Once I say what their question, the answer to their question, they're gone. I know this for a fact. There's not really anyone here that can say that they've watched my stuff from beginning to end. There's maybe 3 people that do. I watch my analytics closely, so when people are like, "Yeah, I watched your video right now. I was the first one to watch it," and I go on my analytics and it shows me that the person that I got a view and it only retained for a minute, and I know you clicked away from my video. I don't say anything because a view is a view to me, whether you watch the whole thing or you watch just 1 minute of it. It's up to you. I'm not going to force people to watch my stuff, but I know how my video is retaining people. And so far lately, it's not. Why? Honestly, I know it's not because I'm a bad creator or I fucking suck at this. That has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with is the way that things have changed on social media. More people watch TikTok, Clapper, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels than they actually watch content. Now, you would think that YouTube Shorts would be beneficial to somebody that has short form, long form content, because you could do short form and tag your long form. It's a hit or miss with that because short form content nearly killed my channel. So I had to delete every YouTube short there was. So that's why I have a second channel that's dedicated to just shorts. So I'm still giving people what they want. I'm just giving people in it 2 different forms, right? If you're on this channel, it's for the long form content and the live streams. If you want the short stuff, then subscribe to Short Side of Tech, an Aloha Android project. YouTube would not let me put that whole naming scheme there. That's originally what the channel is called. It's literally called that, Short Side of Tech, the Aloha Android project. But I know I'm fucking stupid with these namings. But anyways, it's no longer going to be a project because I'm going to start, full-time posting shorts on there. But I did that because I know that the younger generation today we make fun of them. I know we call them the ADHD generation, but the reality of things is that's what's hot. That's what works. And YouTube knows it. This is how YouTube is able to save more and still be able to distribute money to content creators who are partnered, right? Because if you got a long form video with 3 ads in it and it gets 1 million views, that one video that's a long form content, 1 million views, would have earned $3,000. You take that same video and chop it up to a YouTube short, maybe no longer than 3 minutes, with 1 million views, and it's going to earn 300. Significant difference earning from shorts and earning from long form content. And YouTube knows this. They know this. This is the reason why they extended YouTube shorts from 60 seconds to 3 minutes. Because, you can still post long form content videos at 3 minutes only. You would just have to shoot in landscape rather than portrait. If your video is exactly 3 minutes long and it's in portrait, it's going to upload and be pushed as a short or a reel or a TikTok. It's going to be posted like that. If you make your video landscape and it's exactly 3 minutes as well, it will post as a regular long form content video, which means that it is subject to the same ads and revenue earnings as a regular long form content video. So yeah, keep that in mind. But yes, those are some of the things that that's plaguing YouTube now. That is honestly, Gene, it sounds like it's working against you, but these are not things that work against you. These are like trials for you to really kind of just show what you're made of. And if this is what you really want to do, if this is what you see yourself doing, well, then I would say you have to be like a horse. You have to have those, horse blinds on where you're not looking at your subscribers, you're not looking at your views, you're not looking at your comments just yet. Like, check them in case someone commented. And if they did, reply back. But if there's no comments, then you don't have to worry. But just focus on putting out content. Focus on making videos. You don't have to bind yourself to a set schedule. You can upload once a week. You could upload, twice a week, 3 times a week. You have to spread your roots. That's what this is doing. Like, if you post a video and it gets only 10 views in the first week, it's not a failed video. It could take 6 months for that video to spread its roots into YouTube, to allow the algorithm to understand the types of videos that you're going to make and who your audience is. And it helps those that are potential audiences find you. In a nutshell, if YouTube content creating is your passion, it doesn't matter if you get nothing out of it, or if you get a little something out of it, or if you explode. If this is what you want to do, you're going to do it hands down. You're going to do it. It's okay to be disheartened. It's okay to be sad. Fuck it. It's okay to, just go to the gym, put on gloves, and hit the heavy bag because you're so angry that you're not performing the way you expected. But remember this. It's not an overnight thing. It's not an over week thing. It's not in the first 30 days. It may not be in the first year for you, but you will build and find your own community if you stick to it. People will find your videos if you tag it. You cannot expect people to find you based on your title of your video. If you don't tag your videos, you can't have people that would like your stuff find you. You're not giving them a pathway to find you. You are literally standing in a room with billions of other people, shoulder to shoulder. You cannot expect somebody who's up there in the top window looking in to distinctly pick you out from everybody else if you don't give them a sign to say, what you're looking for is right here. I do that. I make that. I talk about that. Like, trust me, you're a happy-go-lucky person. I enjoy listening to you talk about the holidays. I enjoy when you talk about nostalgic things. Like, here, I'll give you something positive to take with you, Gene. All right. If you ever think to yourself that you're not doing great, let me tell you this. I remember one day, several years ago, you did a live stream. It was for the holidays. You talked about things that I remember as a child growing up doing. You talked about specific holiday movies that were shown on, for those who are young, they don't know about this, but we used to have cable back in the day. This was before direct-to-TV live streaming. We had what was called cable TV. There's a channel, the ABC channel, right? You talked about movies that they played on there for the holidays, and I'm not bullshitting you, okay? I promise on everything that's great in this world. The moment you talked about the list of holiday movies that you think people should see, stuff that's nostalgic, it was like a total mind fucking rush of all these visions from when I was 7 years old, 6 years old, just come flooding in my brain, creating a goddamn near, virtual visual experience for me to experience my past. And I cried because I miss those days, right? Like, I'm 42, I'm going to be 43. Every day is a day closer to, our final chapter in life. And you've heard me talk about in the past when we have these live streams and I've have a free open topic discussion. I talk about the holidays. Like, my favorite holidays is Halloween. And I talk about what it was like for me to go trick-or-treating and how I felt, the things that people did, to make the holiday, very festive and exciting, and how we're missing that in today's generation. We're missing that today, right? So all those things flooded back to me, all those experiences. I cried. I remember all those things. I remember, like the Thanksgiving vacation week, several days before Thanksgiving Day, and there would be like all these great classic family movies that would pop up on TV on the ABC channel. And I remembered, going to Blockbuster with my mom, and my mom telling me and my sister that we can pick 3 movies and 1 video game to rent. And so they would have like the holiday videos, right? We would wait, constantly for those Peanuts movies, right? The It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, a Charlie Brown Christmas, I Want a Dog for Christmas, Charlie Brown, the one where Rerun wants he wants Snoopy's brother as a pet. If y'all don't know, Rerun is Lucy and Linus's little brother. But anyways, all that, from just you talking about it, all that hit me like a ton of bricks. And I am so grateful, because that feeling, the holiday feeling, the festivities feeling, that great, just warm inside feeling, right? That people can describe, and not a lot of people understand what that means. It flooded over me. Visions of, my dad being super happy watching me and my sister open Christmas gifts, right? All the birthday parties that my mom and dad threw for me. Even when they were divorced from each other, they would still come together and throw me a birthday party. But like seeing the family together, family vacations, like all those things swarmed over me off just you doing a video talking about, the holidays. The music that you played, right? Some of the music that you talked about and discussed. And I remembered, my 3rd grade teacher, and sitting in a classroom during the holiday, season months, right? October, November, December, kids are all excited because, Christmas is coming up, and we used to get out the Elmer's paste and the construction paper and the cotton balls. And we would creatively build Santa Claus, or Santa Claus, mask, or we would build Rudolph, or the rest of the reindeer. We would, my teacher would play, music from what's his name? I can't remember that guy's name now. But anyways, yeah, like a lot of like holiday classics, music written and produced like in the 30s, 40s, 50s. My teacher having an oven in her classroom, and she had oatmeal cookies baking, like all those things came over to me. And I thank you for that, because it was a side of me. As we get older, right, we kind of lose touch with our inner child. We lose touch with certain aspects of our life. And so it brought those back for me, and it helped remind me of what was missing. Because remember, I told you guys, I wanted my kids to experience these things that I experienced, and maybe they would pass it on to their children when they get older. But how could I give them that experience if I don't remember what it felt like? So because of you, I was able to remember more vividly of what things triggered me for the experience, and be able to build that for my kids. And now they know. And now we're doing it annually, that it's permanently like burned in the forefront of my brain now. So like, my kids doing, building, a gingerbread house. My kids wanting to decorate the house like it's a haunted house for Halloween. My kids wanted to go to haunted bale rides, walking down haunted trails, going to, the 13th floor haunted house here, which is kind of extreme for them, but I mean, they want to. Thanksgiving, having a nice set table, right? With all the decorations and, all the traditions that me and my children are able to build, so that way they have traditions to pass on to people. Christmas. My kids are not focused on what are they getting for Christmas. Believe it or not, my kids' main focus for Christmas holidays is being able to put on music, holiday music, have gingerbread cookies baked and on the table, having all the pieces for the gingerbread house on the breakfast bar, having the Christmas tree ready to be set up, the ornaments ready to be set up, the special ornaments put in a spot so they can figure. And then they love playing the music. They love putting the ornaments on. They love making sure they're sprucing up the tree nice and making it look as beautiful as possible. And they love the moment where they get to sit in suspense. Is dad gonna break his ass off that ladder trying to put that star on the top of the tree? So, kidding. Kidding. My kids are not that dark, but they like to watch me put the star up, and then they like to just kill all the lights in the living room and just look at the tree. They love sitting down, listening to holiday music, and trying to put a gingerbread house together with me and their mom. They love having, the different meals that we have. They love celebrating the 12 days of Christmas. So you do have a gift, Gene. I tell you that not because I want to blow smoke up your ass and make you feel great that you're just going to do a YouTube video. I am telling you that because it's the truth. It is the honest truth. That's what you did for me with all your holiday videos. I do like listening to you talk about tech. I like the fact that you're a varieties channel. Some days it might be your opinion about tech. Some days it might be about holidays. Some days you might live stream walking at the park. I appreciate all those videos, and they do something differently for me, each one of them. So I just want you to know that. So it's up to you, bro. I mean, if you walk away from this, you walk away from it. No one's gonna hate you for it, and we're still gonna give you shout outs. I'm still gonna appreciate you for, watching our tech videos. And you know what? You can incorporate wrestling if you like wrestling. You come and you watch our stuff. Join us on our podcast and make videos on your own about wrestling. There's so many things that you like, and you can find out which one your fans are going to gravitate to most, and you'll find your niche. Give it time and don't quit. But if you absolutely want to quit, that's fine. If you want to quit and start a new channel and build from that new channel like a clean slate, try that. Understand this specific channel was not my original channel. I've had 5 channels before this one. There were 5 channels named Aloha Android before this one. And those 5 channels failed. Those 5 channels didn't go anywhere. It was number 6 that went somewhere. And so that's why I still fight hard today to maintain the viewership that I'm able to get. And I appreciate and love everybody for coming by, whether they watch 1 minute of it or they watch the whole video or they watch the whole live stream and they smash the like button and they comment and all that stuff. I love you guys for it and I appreciate it. A quick rundown. What could help get attraction? What could help the algorithm see that you're serious about your videos? 1, come up with a good catchy title. 2, build a decently good looking thumbnail. Don't overdo it where it looks like you're just a fabricated, non-genuine type video. Make it personable to you, because that's what it's going to do. It's telling people what the video is about and who the video is about. Okay, so title, thumbnail. In a description, type a small synopsis of what your video is about. Don't give too much plot points away, but because some people like to read the description to kind of understand what the whole video is going to be about before staying to watch the whole video. All right. Don't overflood your description with tags. Don't push people anywhere else. If you want subscribers on YouTube, keep them on YouTube. Don't link your other social media accounts unless you're a business. If you're not a business, don't send people elsewhere. Okay, you can post in your community feed on YouTube like it's X, like it's Threads, like it's Facebook, if you want to do that. Okay, so that's that, right? Thumbnail, title, description, tags. Tag your video for relevancy. Tag, okay? Make sure you use tags. When your video launches, when you make your video go live, watch your whole video. If you set it as a premiere, watch it as a premiere. Chat with everybody who's in the chat watching your premiere. If it's not a premiere and you just set it as live, give yourself a full view. Watch from beginning to end. Because if you won't even stay for your own video, why is anybody else going to? Secondly, when you're watching your video after you've set it public, the first, in the comments, type a comment giving a little extra about how you feel about what you're saying in your video, right? So if you're talking about the iPhone 16, then give a little personable experience. Don't make a long 3-paragraph comment. Just, short 1 paragraph, and make it engaging. Ask people. Like, you can say, like, to continue on about, the iPhone 16, I really do think it's a great phone, and I think it'll be great for content creators out there. But, you guys could reply to this comment. Let me know, for the price, do you think you're getting the most for the price that you're paying for an iPhone 16? Right? You're ending your post in a question, allowing people to engage, allowing people to reply to your comment with their answers. Because when the YouTube algorithm sees that people are watching your video, whether it's for 2 minutes of it or 10 minutes of it, but they also see that you're getting the thumbs up, and they also see that your comment is getting engagement, it tells them that people are engaging with your video. So it starts to show it to more people, which means more people are shown it, more view counts you're getting, more possible new subscribers. All right. That's the little ladder right there. You don't need to hack the algorithm. There's no special thing you need to do. You just need to do exactly what YouTube gives you, because this is not a cheat code or anything for YouTube. If you open up YouTube Studios, these are the exact things it's asking for when you upload a video. It asks you for a title. It asks you for a description. It asks you to put a thumbnail. It asks you to put a record date and, tags, right? It asks you all those things. Boom, 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 boom. So you're not cheating when doing that. So it's copyright because it's dependent on the music that you're using, or any sounds in the background that you're using, or any visuals. And remember, copyright is not just music only. It could be visuals in the background. It could be a video that's playing in the background, right? Those things can be it. Now, if you feel genuinely that there's nothing copyright in your video, you can always appeal it. There is an appeal process. You can submit it. YouTube will review it. But anyways, yeah, that's it for the Hump Day Live. Like I said, I would love to be on longer, but I do got other things I got to get done for today. Video dropping about the Nothing Phone 1 getting Nothing OS 3.2, so be on the lookout for that video. I appreciate you guys for being here. If you guys want to help support the channel directly to me, there's the QR code up there. That's how you do it. A big shout out to the members of the channel. I appreciate you guys for being a member. That helps out a lot. You guys get content specifically for you guys. You guys get early access to videos before everybody else. You guys know the drill. So I appreciate you guys. And also thank you everybody for helping me get to 13.8 subscribers, right? 13,800 subscribers. I appreciate everybody for that. I love you guys very much for it. I'm happy. We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to come back and to bounce back from a lot of things. So anyways, y'all be good and be safe out there. I'll see you on the next one. As always, Law.